Okay, so thanks everybody for coming. We are going to be looking at reporting today from your EBSCO databases, your EBSCO resources. And we do have me, Lisa Jones. I'm coming in from New Orleans today. And we have Shayna. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. This is Shayna Ashwood Viala. I am Lisa's colleague, and I'm coming in from New York, Long Island.
All righty. Any snow up there, Shayna?
No, but it's cold. It was 60 degrees last week, and now it's in the 20s, 30s, 40s. Not nice.
Okay, it's like almost 80 here, so I won't rub that in.
You did already. Thanks.
And I don't know what's going on in Oklahoma. I know that you had a snow a while back, but hopefully all that's melted and it's spring is look like it's coming for you all. All right, so we will be looking at EBSCO admin, which houses the reporting module. So if you haven't taken the EBSCO admin class already, we gave that class, I think it was last week. There's going to be a recording of it on the Oklahoma Department of Libraries website. So make sure that you review that after. I think that will give you a good grounding. And this is just a deep dive into one area of EBSCO admin. So reports and statistics, it's not as scary as it sounds. I even, I've been working for EBSCO a long time, and even I am like, ooh, I have to talk about that. But it really isn't. Once you kind of get past just the first couple pages and say, oh yeah, this is easy. So that's where you're going to be at the end of the session. Okay. So I see people saying, I've never used reports before. I've seen some people say, yeah, I've, kind of dabbled in there a little bit. But I think that no matter where you are, you're going to be a couple levels higher than, where you are now. And you'll feel a lot more comfortable and confident in just going in there and poking around and see what users are doing in your system. So we'll definitely look at the graphical reports first. I call those the fun reports because they are image based, they're graphical, they're super easy. You just click in and it's there. So we'll look at, there's two types of those. One goes over just standard usage, usually of your databases and resources. And then the other one is top search terms. And I really like to show the top search terms because it shows what users are putting in the search box. So we'll look at those two, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper and actually run a standard usage report. I'm using there's lots of different ways you can run a report, but the one probably the most used type of report that people want is just our database is being used. Which database is being used? So that's called a database usage report. So we'll run one of those. I have a good example of that. Kind of talk about the columns, to get that out of the way. And then we'll look at Connect, and that's EBSCO's help site. And you can actually ask, there's a bot on Connect that you could ask to run a report for you. So we'll play around with that at the very end too. Throughout the whole session, you can ask questions. All right. So and that means now too. So any questions so far, please unmute yourself and say, hey, Lisa, or put it in the chat. Let me get out of here. I think if I just press escape. All right. So now, I probably stopped sharing. Can everyone see the digital prairie screen, or I think is that okay? Is it shared?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So I'm starting here because really what we're talking about is no matter where I start, when users use our resources, they're either using, they're using databases, they're getting to the resource, to the database, but there's multiple ways that they can get there. Maybe they're using EBSCO host to search academic, search elite. Maybe they're using Explora to search master file. So lots of the interfaces that you have that are showing links and access points to go into the database itself, that's, for you to understand that they can get to these databases multiple ways, depending on what the links are on your websites, okay? So let's go in the back and every library, not every librarian, but every library does have their own access to EBSCO admin. So if you don't have that, if you say, well, I don't, when I log in, or I don't even know how to get to this page, go ahead and make yourself a note right now to say, get access to EBSCO admin, because every library, or find out in my library who does, maybe it's a systems person, or maybe it's your acquisitions person or something. And then the secondary thing is, so you should be able to have a login to this. The secondary thing is that when you do log in, you should see, most likely you should see multiple items up here, but you can only see reports and statistics. So let's say that you have a systems librarian and you're running reports, but they're like, well, I don't want you to see everything. So maybe they've only given permissions to see this, which is fine if that's all you need to do. So I think that if it's in your, if it's under kind of your wheelhouse to want to know about reports and statistics and run them, then you can get a login just to see this. Okay, that's kind of the point there. All right, so I just logged in, and I am using the larger, site of just the over, like, umbrella site of Oklahoma Department of Libraries. I'm going to just pretend that's me, that's individually me. You will come in as your own site. You won't come in as Oklahoma Department of Libraries. You'll come in as whatever entity you come from, Stillwater Public, Ada Public, and so on. You can just click right on over to statistics, because you will land on this customized service. And everyone should have a similar page like this. So depending on the items that you get from us. Let's say that someone has Flipster, which is our magazine um, product. And so if you do have Flipster, you're going to have an additional square that then wants to show you how to get individual, Flipster usage numbers. So your screen may be a little different than this, but everyone has this, the standard usage area. Everyone has this, the search analytics area. And then I believe, because you do have a few ebooks from us, or some ebooks from us, even if you're not buying anything outside of Oklahoma Department of Libraries, then you still will have this ebooks. You should have this ebooks area here. But I think kind of the key areas that we're going to look at are these two here. This is where the meat, and actually this is where the real meat is. This is the icing, because this is one of those more of a fluff thing. So we said we were going to look at the analytics part first. And if I just remember that word, I see two places that I could do something about analytics. And I would just read this as graphical. So I said, oh, that's where I can get that graphical report. Same thing here, analytics. Oh, analytics means graphical, because Lisa told me. And so if I click into either one of these, I'm going to get those graphical reports. And let's start with any questions? I heard a little noise, sorry. Let's just start with top search terms. So I'm going to just jump in there, and all of you can do this. Doesn't hurt just to poke around. You're not going to change anything. You're not adding, anything to the system. And remember, I'm coming in as Oklahoma Department of Libraries, but because I'm a top of everyone, I'm seeing everyone's. But really, what I really want to do is I still want to just minimize that. You won't have to do this most likely. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, well, I want to know my usage here. And so when you come in, you'll come in as your site. If you notice, what is an interface? Remember, interfaces are just ways, are holders of databases, basically ways that you access databases. So this gives you a hint if you want to close it down. So you have the interface of Consumer Health Complete. You have the interface of Hobbies and Crafts. You have the interface of Explora. Explora is a different way. I don't really care at this point. I don't really care how they got to the databases. I just want to know, or what search box they put these words in. I just want to know, what are our users doing? Are they, did the instruction that I just give 2 weeks ago in a program, or are they listening to me when they come to the after school homework help sessions that I've been giving? Let's see. So I can already see that I have this. This is cool. It's colorful. If I want to see the whole thing, I can blow it up. Let's see what happens here. So these are going to be, everyone knows how this works, the word cloud. And if you did want to just download it, you could and put it in a PowerPoint presentation if that's what you wanted to do. But really where the meat is, and I don't have to do that. Let me just, I think I can do this to go back. Yeah. So really what I want to do is I just want to go down, and this will give me either my top 50, or I can go all the way up to 1,000 search terms that have been put into my system, any search box that I have available, or any database that I have available on my website. These are where these terms are coming from. So I can look to see, are they using full sentences? Do I need to kind of talk to them about that? But I look and I see some pretty good searches here, right? I see a lot of, looks like Black History Month. They did a lot of searches were going on here. So you can kind of tell what your users are looking for, what they've been doing, and you can use this information in a lot of ways. So let me go back up, and let's just look at these top, and this is the top 50. I'll leave it at that. But I do want to see, this just means that someone typed in paleontology 440 times. And then I see this means that they've then found something on the result list to click on. So hopefully that was a full text item, or maybe they read an abstract on something. Maybe they used even a filter, to kind of filter it then down, and then they clicked on stuff. So these are the top search terms. And a lot of times, right within your reporting area, you'll have a lot of access to help. The first thing you might ask is, so this says searches from the last 3 months. I can go to the last month and all that. But if I hover over here, it basically will tell me, um, sorry, it'll pretty much tell me at the very top, look at the top paragraph at the last sentence. It says it's restricted to the top 1,000 search terms. So it's basically a rolling 1,000. So depending on how many people are in your system and doing searches, this could be a lot, this could be a shorter period of time. So the top 1,000 search results, and it's rolling. This is not a report that I can ask to be sent to me. Other reports you can, so that it emails you. You don't have to go in. This is one that you go in. It's more like at a glance report. I'm looking at what's going on kind of currently in my system, right? So I have that one. I also there's a couple other things I can do here. Actually, no, this is not the one. So this is pretty much what you're getting here is the top search terms report. You have the word cloud. You have the ability to see, well, are they searching these things in EBSCOhost, or are they searching it in, using Explora? You can limit by that. And then you can just kind of see the information here. You do have the ability to download it and then, share it with other librarians and so on. So any questions about the top search terms report? Let me know either in a chat or unmute, okay? So here, when I'm an EBSCO admin, I never want to use the back button. I always want to use one of these resources here, but I see this kind of breadcrumb trail. I'm just going to go ahead and click right on reports and statistics, and that just takes me back to that main page again. So let's look at the other analytical report, and that's going to be this one. So standard usage analytics, it's again at a glance. It's something that you're just going to be looking at, jumping in really quickly. And the first thing this time, I'm going to show you this first. So I'm just hovering over the question mark and look at the last sentence, or the second to the last sentence in the second paragraph. It basically says, this is the last 13 months. So this is a 13-month view of usage. Can't change it. Can't say, well, I only want to know last month. It's just a rolling 13 months, okay? So it lands on this database usage report. I'll go ahead and I'll go back over to, I really want to kind of focus just on my site, which happens to be Oklahoma Department of Libraries. You most likely won't have to change the site. It'll just be a dedicated thing here. And then as I scroll down, I'm like, well, what's going on here? So this is the real usage within your databases. So I'm looking at sessions, searches, and so on. So let's talk a little bit about, well, what is a session? What is a search? A session just means that someone opened up one of your resources. So they clicked on Explora, or they clicked on EBSCO host, or they clicked on academic search if you have those links. So any link that they actually then get to a search page, right? That's a session. So whether or not they did anything once they got there, well, that doesn't matter. It's going to count as a session. So your sessions are always pretty high. Then your searches should be, so this kind of ratio looks good to me, because once I get in there one time, it doesn't count, then it's just counted. Boom, I'm in a search box. Then I'm probably doing multiple searches while I'm in there. So your searches, they don't really know what I searched for, if I found something. It just basically said someone put something in the search box and clicked that search tab or hit the enter key, and it did a search in the systems. Okay. And then this one really is irrelevant to you. This one mostly it has something to do with discovery. So if there is someone in here that does have our discovery product, then this one does count. But really, there's no federated searching for EBSCO at all. This should be changed just to automated only, and this has to do with discovery. So what I like to do when I go in here, what I really want to know is, are people getting to full text? That's really the meat. So I'm going to just uncheck these. I don't really care. I don't want these on my, I want to see if people are getting to full text. Also, are they reading abstracts? I think that that's still useful in a lot of ways. So um, they're seeing if it's helpful or not, or maybe just within the abstract, they've got enough information. That's just the description of the document, or the ebook is the abstract. So they've got enough information already. They don't need to go any further. So I think this is helpful. They've went one step further than just a search. Here, they've gone one step further than reading the abstract, and they actually opened up the full text of the document. That would be either the PDF or that HTML link, right? And then if you do have, so this is also pretty helpful. What this means, and if you have 0, then that's fine. That just basically means that you don't have any links going to ILL. You don't have, so these would be links that you sent the user out somewhere else. So maybe you have an ILL link, maybe you have an open URL resolver link in your EBSCO databases. Maybe you even have a help link that is listed there. So any kind of specialized link that we EBSCO support may have created for you, or if me saying this, if me saying like ILL, oh, I didn't know we could have ILL in our databases. Yeah, I think I want to turn that on. So this would be where those are counted. So you can put links going out to other areas, and that's that. So this can be helpful too, to know, hey, EBSCO, even though they were searching in EBSCO, it got them to another place that hopefully then they got what they needed, right? And so if I continue to look down here on this page, I see this actually then tells me the databases that were searched. So I can see that the database, like, oh, wow, why is it so many searches? Well, because remember, some people access academic search through EBSCO host. Some people access it through Explora. Some people access it through, this is the other version, like the teacher version of Explora. So the multiple versions of Explora, they're still searching the same database. So if you wanted to really know the full, so you're not going to like go in here and go, well, let me count this plus this plus this, then that equals the real usage of this, right? So that's not the way you're using this resource. This is just something that you're grabbing and you're looking and you're saying, wow, yes, school started, boom, or I did that session and I gave everyone a good link to our resources. I created a search box on our page. And then you can see, you'll probably most likely then see growth, from those times that you did kind of an extra push of your online resources. All right, and ask some questions if you have them. This report type has a few different ones too. Let's look at it. So interface usage. If you do care, well, are people using, let's look at your different interfaces here. So are people using Explora? I just want to know, like I put a new link on the children's webpage. Is there more usage there? So this basically just tells you not the database they used, but how they got to the databases, right? So that's what an interface, that is your interface. And you can do the same thing here. And then you can also do login usage. And if you're not using Google Analytics on your website, this would be very helpful to your webmaster because it does tell you how people are using your library website, or how they're using your databases page. How are they accessing? Are they, what operating system are they using? What browser are they using? And are they using mobile devices or more of bigger, larger devices? And you can see that even the login method or the authentication method is shown. So the majority of people are accessing these resources just by being in Oklahoma, right? That's the geolocation. I'm in Oklahoma. It recognizes me. It doesn't ask me for anything. It just passes me through. Um, and then I can see down here, there's some different login methods. Some people will be recognized by IP. Some people are still using kind of that older personal user, like an EBSCO personal user account. If you do see social in yours, that means that they're actually using their Google login to access resources. So there is a way to do that too, so that you're getting some people that are using the Google login to access EBSCO. So that's going to be it there. And then did you notice this up here? So this is what I wanted to show you. A lot of times I already showed you this. Look here's a whole tutorial just on this resource here, standard usage analytics. There's also a glossary of terms. Remember we talked about searches and sessions and like what's that social, So if you do see something on here that you're not clear, try to grab the glossary of terms and see if it's in there. Hopefully it will be. So let's first look at social. And I was kind of surprised because that's a little newer and I was like, oh, I bet you it's not going to be there. But nope, our documentation is updated. And this tells you, oh, this refers to a Google sign-in. All right, I understand that. Also, here's what a search is. Here's what a session is. So that you're in line with, what you think EBSCO thinks it is, and then what you think it is, and kind of reconcile that right here. So back over to everyone's pretty quiet. Let's go ahead and run a report now. So those analytical reports, they're fun, they're interesting, they're great to download, put into your PowerPoints if you do have, or just to send along, maybe to your director and go, hey, look, by the way, here's what's going on here. And that's good to know. And that was here and here. All right, so the main area really is going to be that you're going to use to get those the real nitty gritty. I want the Excel spreadsheets. I want to, manipulate the data is going to be right here under standard usage. So standard usage, it looks, you still have the tutorial there. You still have the glossary of terms there. That makes me feel good, but it does look a lot different. So I do have to have my criteria. So that's the first thing you want to think about is, well, what am I really looking for? So I think that a lot of times we really are looking for what databases are being used, right? That's what we're really trying to get. You can see there's an interface usage. There's also link activity. So if you do have the ILL links, maybe links going back into your catalog or something. And this is really a lot more relevant if you do have discovery, because discovery links you out to other resources, but they do have other reports here, but I'm going to focus on this one. If you did want to know, let's just say this, well, Lisa didn't do a login or let's just do this one. So like I said, Lisa didn't do this one. I wonder what it is. What you can do is just go over here, and then as soon as you hover over, it changes and recognizes, it knows what you're looking at. It gives you a little bit of an explanation about what that report will do. So I really do like that kind of, quick access help areas in here, and don't forget about them. Okay. So let's go back to database usage. That's what we want to do. And remember, I'm, the mother site here, but I really want to be just my own site. So I'm going to go down to that one. Sorry. And most likely you won't have to do that unless you have multiple branches. A lot of times if you do, if you're the main branch and you have multiple branches, you'll have this same kind of drop down and it'll just list your branches. And maybe you want to run, something for all or just something for individuals. So usually what I would like to do is be a little bit more in control. First of all, I do want to have a glance in here and say, well, all databases accessed. Well, what does that really mean? So if you want to see what databases it's going to give you a list on, just go over to all subscribed and do select. So here, everyone's will look the same. You may have different databases listed in here, and it tells you this was a trial. Here's going to be what it wants to run a list on by default. I would prefer not to see all this other trial stuff and all that in there if I don't need to. I can actually um, do remove all, and then I can pick and choose which ones I want. If you notice, I'll go ahead and cancel out of here because I want to show you. If you notice, pretty much, if you left it here, all databases accessed, if you did have other databases in there listed that weren't used, like the trials or something, then they won't even show up on the spreadsheet. So you could try this if you want. I'm just going to do this to keep it a little cleaner. And I want to show you not to be afraid of this page. Just remove all of these and then just start to add back in what you want to focus on. And so I just want to really grab in a few. I'm going to grab in Academic Search Elite. So I'm just going to plus it in there. And then I want to grab in Business Source Elite. So I want to run a report on that and put that over. And then I want to grab in maybe Health Source, right? So I'll do the Health Source Consumer. You do have two different health sources. Um, this one, Health Source Consumer and then Health Source Nursing. I'm going to grab the consumer just because. And then I maybe want to just do master files. So I'm just doing about, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll do master file. And then recently, in case you didn't know this, and I would say this happened maybe last year at the beginning of the year, maybe a little before that, still kind of hidden though, with a lot of the databases, master file, um, primary search, uh, middle search, Moss Ultra, those three that I just named, primary, middle, and Moss Ultra, those are the K-12 resources. Masterfile is more of the, kind of general public, multidisciplinary public library resource. We added these complementary and complementing ebook collections to it. So you're not paying any extra or anything for this. We just said, hey, if you get Masterfile, you're also going to get this collection of ebooks that go along with it. So it should be searched at the same time. And then I will just want to know, well, are people finding, it's not that many, it's maybe 100 or so in each one, couple hundred. I don't really know the exact numbers. But I still think it's valuable and relevant and something that if you don't know if you're offering that to your users, then let's have that discussion. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and click these both over because I haven't done it yet. I'm just going to click that one over and I'll click that one over and then I'm done. So apply changes. And then it tells me I've actually picked 5 and that's what I want. I want to narrow it down here. I don't really care the interfaces they came in on. I just want to know, did those databases get used? I do care about the reporting period. So I'm going to pick the reporting period, let's say last 3 months. I just want to know, but you see that you can it has kind of some quick picks here, but you can also do a custom range. Now this goes back to 2 years. If you want more or need more, like, oh no, I should have been doing this. All of a sudden we're getting asked and we need more. I believe EBSCO can go back with just the database usage, like not a lot of other reports, but I think we can go back then a 3rd year. So if you do have things that you haven't been keeping track of and all of a sudden you must have, then, and you don't see it here, like the ability to go back, then definitely ask us, okay? So here, I'm just gonna go just pick one of these real quick. These last 3 months, that's what I wanna know. And by the way, we're in March, right? So think about, when do the March, I can see that I can't, pick March here. So when do the March date, statistics go into the system? Usually about the 3rd or 4th of the month. you will then be able to get last month's information. Okay. So I'm changing this. I don't really need to worry about this. I'm going to leave it at the database level. I want to know per database what the usage was. I don't really need to change any more of this. If I add detailed, I think it adds one more column to the spreadsheet. So usually I just leave these things alone. Now this is important. If I know that this criteria is something that I'm going to want on a regular basis, then this is really when I want to make this decision here. So if I said, well, I've already run this report as a test. I see that it is what I need. It gives me the information I need. So let me go ahead and set it up so that it emails me this information in a spreadsheet format. So if I want it to email me on a regular basis, not just one time, but every, so you're going to see. So as soon as I check over to email, this is where I can then set up. I want this sent to me quarterly. So basically I'm asking it for 3 months, every 3 months. It's going to send it to me quarterly or yearly or bi-yearly. I'm probably going to think about maybe monthly I want, or yearly. Maybe I want to make a yearly report and I want it sent to me yearly. So I only get one email one time. Figure out your criteria and then figure out when you want it. But basically, let's just say if I said I want this quarterly, it's going to a little bit override what's up there, but it kind of confirms too. I want the last 3 months. I want it starting from and it looks like that I have to go forward. I can't really go back. And then here's when I want it to stop. So I can kind of change that too. Here's my reporting. Maybe it's CSV, tab delimited, or Excel. As soon as I do this, that's when then that is set up. Okay. For today, so this is very important. You don't have, once you set up the criteria, have the system email you. Super easy, or better yet, email somebody else and they can manipulate the data, right? All right, that was probably a joke, but okay, so I'm going to leave it at download because I want to see it now. Remember our criteria stayed the same, 5 databases, 3 months. Now I'm just going to create the report. Once I do that, I have the report is kind of being created over here in download. I'm going to go to that. And you can see I already ran one this morning earlier, but this is my second one on top. So if you're running multiple reports, they're just going to be there waiting for you, and they'll be there for a while. I don't know how long these reports will stay in this page, but eventually they'll kind of disappear because they kind of assume you've already manipulated the data, but it won't be like 24 hours. It's a couple months, I think they'll be there. So if I'm just going to download it. I want to just open it up in Excel, and I've already done that. So let me just share my Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so please someone confirm that you're seeing the spreadsheet.
Yes.
Thank you. So I just did a little, and I'll actually make it a little bigger. Let's see. There we go. Maybe that's a little better, right? So I just did a little tiny bit of manipulation, and I'll tell you what I did. So the spreadsheet, it gave me all this information. All I did was add this color bar, and then I just opened up the, the column so that I could see everything. That's all I did. I didn't reorder. I didn't rename anything. So let's go through this. So remember, there's my 5 databases that I wanted to get information on. Remember, my reporting period was only for a 3-month usage, right? So you can see that Academic Search Elite, let's just look at this line here. So Academic Search Elite just gives me this database code. I don't really care about that. Tells me this, I could just, don't really care about that. But here's those same things. So the sessions, remember what that was? That was just someone someone opened up Academic Search Elite. That's basically what that means, period, the end. That's all. They opened it up. They're sitting on the search page. They haven't done anything yet. Then what did they do in there? Well, they clicked the search button or hit the enter key when they had something in the search box almost 40,000 times, right? And then this, so total requests should usually equals this plus this plus this, okay? So abstract requests, total link outs, remember, we already kind of went over what these meant. So now they're not so, um, just foreign to us. So we know that link outs mean that I just sent them out there to an ILL or somewhere where they got extra help. And that only happens if you have those links in your system. Uh, Total full text, that means that they read the full text. And then abstract, either the HTML full text or the PDF full text. Abstract, they hovered over the abstract view on the result list, which is an abstract. And I'll show you that if you need me to. Basically, if I do a search and I don't click into the item, but I just hover over and I'm able to read the abstract, that counts as an abstract read. So they did that many times. Or they clicked into, sometimes if they click into the title, it also like lands on the abstract. So they did something with the abstract, and then I can see there's my count. And I can just go down and see this turnaways. That's not relevant for databases. This is relevant for ebooks. So if you do see turnaways, that means that you have a one book, one user ebook, most likely, and that someone was in the ebook using it and someone else tried to get to it. So if you do have turnaways, that has something to do with your ebook collection, okay? But for us, for the databases, this is not relevant. So for that file or list to be 0, that's fine. So any questions about this? Let me know. Everyone's pretty quiet. Maybe I'm making, hopefully you're like, oh yeah, this is super easy.
I have a question, Lisa.
Please.
When you're looking at this is, how does geolocation figure in?
When
I
I'm
mean,
looking at this report?
yeah. I mean, how do you know
Yeah.
where they were?
So looking at this report, this is basically, so think about it. This is just database usage. So database usage is like, I don't care how you got there. I know that when you got there, this is what you did. So that's what your database usage report does. It doesn't tell you how the user, either what interface they used, or it doesn't tell you what the authentication method of was what they used. So if you want, so those would be the other 2 reports that you might use. So you would use more of the, let's go back. So let's do.
So, like, if I'm Ada, how do I know that they came to Ada? Is it because they used my link or they were new to me?
So if what you're asking, so let's just say if you get any usage, because you're going to come in as Ada. So here I'm coming in the reports and statistics, you're only going to see your stats. So if you get numbers on your, any numbers that you get from the reports that you run, that is Ada's usage stats. And it doesn't matter, so it's not going to be from some random person that just goes through ODL or something. So there's like number 1. Number 2, you probably, let's go back over here to standard usage reports. If you want to know if they came in through geolocation or if they used their library card or, or proxy server, whatever else you're using, then that's when you're probably going to use the login usage report. So this will tell you how, how they came in. So if I did that, I just want to know what the login method was. I would, you're going to be your site here. I don't think that you have to do anything with those user defined fields.
Lisa, I
And
think we're still seeing your spreadsheet.
oh, I shared.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Thank you. Like I thought I shared, but it was still sitting over there. All right, so I just went reports and statistics again, and I'm still in the standard usage because this really is where the meat is. And all I did was, instead of the database usage report, which is what we just ran, you probably want to play around with the login usage report. and your site is going to be Ada. You're already going to come up as that. I don't think you need to do anything with user defined fields. And then if you want to know, well, how did they get it? So like, really, I guess I really should have started with the question, what do you really want to know? You kind of have to ask yourself that, like, what are we really looking for? What data are we really looking for? Do you want to know how many people got through geolocation versus another type of versus IP recognition from being, in the building? Or, like, what do you really want to know?
Just what you just said, so are they getting in remotely or are they in the building?
Yeah. So, and then this is the report that you want to do, the login usage report. Or I think even that quick one. So let's just say if I did this, and I'm going to do that Oklahoma, we'll do one real quick. Department of Libraries. Doesn't matter, we don't really care about how they got there. We just want to, or as far as the interfaces they used, but we do want to know what login method they use. So I'm going to leave this the same. Let's leave it at a month. I think even at the login method, I just want to know what login method did they use. So this is going to be very high level. As soon as I create the report, pretty fast actually, then I'm going to go over to downloaded reports. Even though this is a larger site, it shouldn't take that long. And now I'm saying, come on, there it is. See? So as soon as I open this up, I'll have to share it again. But I think it doesn't hurt, you're going to play around with these, but I think that this is going to be the one that's going to be helpful to you. So I'll do a new share and let's just share that one. All right, so I haven't done anything yet. Can you see the report I just ran?
Yes.
All right, so you see how quick that was? So basically, this would just be listed Ada, public libraries, and you're going to see, people access to you. And this is your stuff. So this is for Oklahoma Department of Libraries, and it's only for the month. You think is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's there, and then let me do share again. And then remember, if you just want a quick glance at that, that was also located. I'm just clicking back on reports and statistics. That one was also located here in standard usage. So you might just, instead of running, having to pick your criteria, you might just click into your standard usage and then click your login usage report here. And that's going to be more of at a glance. And then you can see too, where, is it geolocation? Is it your IP? Is it something else? So try it both ways and see if that gives you the data you need. And then, of course, see this when you get that screen, that means it's time for the session to end.
Right.
We are we are at at 1:45, and I do want to show you, though. Actually, I want to show you one last thing in Connect, and because I think it's helpful, and then we'll be done. So if I go over to Connect, which is basically, if I wanted to from here, I could go to the help, or I could scroll down, and I could go to the support site here, and that's going to get me to the Connect site. The Connect site it did have that glossary of terms. So remember when I clicked on glossary, it basically landed me on a, deep dive into a Connect page. So if I wanted to, I could just put glossary of terms here and I'm going to be able to find it. But what I want to show you is who doesn't have a EBSCO Connect login. And hopefully none of you say, well, I don't. So you should and can and could have a Connect login. And one of the reasons is because then you could easily ask support to do reporting for you. But let me show you something cool. So I'm just going to sign in, because if you see when I'm not signed in, it gives me a different homepage. But as soon as I sign in, and it tells me, if you guys don't have a Connect account, just do this, request it. Okay. So there's homework for you now. So do that as soon as we're over with the session. But I already have an account, so I'm going to sign in. And as soon as I do that, I can open a case. That means I can talk directly to support. I can track my cases, see what I've already asked them. But I want to show you this EBSCO self-serve. So if I do start here, and this is those bots that we all love, right? And I'm saying love and like air quotes sarcastically, but I just want to show you this so you can try it out if you want. So here we go. I just went to this self-help, and it only allows me to ask for two things. So first of all, if you guys have forgotten your EBSCO admin password, boom, just do it. Just go right here and say, give it to me. And the system's going to email you and send you a new password or send you a way to change your password. Here, standard usage report, very simple reporting here. If it's really just going to be a database usage report, it's not going to be anything extra, anything special. But as soon as I say I want to report, it does allow me to choose, last year, maybe just the last rolling 12 months, or maybe just last month. So, whatever you choose. And then it's going to ask you kind of set up the criteria and say, okay, I think I know what your site is. Because when you log in, it recognizes you're from Ada Public Library, or, Stillwater or wherever. And then it's going to say, okay, this is what I'm going to make for you. And I'm going to send it to this email. Is that okay? And you say, yeah, sure. And then you should get it. Okay. So you can ask for that very simple database usage report if you want, using the self-serve. And that's what I wanted to show you. Okay, so I think I'm done. Let me go back. I do have, hold on a minute. Just a closing slide, and then it has Arlene's contact information on it that we want to make sure we share with you. Okay, so we do have, so I did mention we are doing other trainings. Am I sharing the screen? I love all this sharing.
Yes.
Thank you. So if you haven't already done so, sign up for the next classes that we have. We're going to have a homework help class coming up. We also have then a searching fundamentals class coming up. So we have 2 more classes coming. We've already done general overview of EBSCO admin, and we've done an overview of your online library itself. And this is the reporting. So they're all those trainings, the recordings, plus the ability to sign up for them are located on this site here. And then we do thank you again for your time. I can't remember. I'm so sorry if I did go over, if this was only supposed to be a 30-minute session. I did go into pretty much detail about all the different reports. So, and you all hung in there. So thank you for that. Arlene is here too, and she's available for you all the time. And then also the Connect site that we showed. And then Arlene can always contact us if you need us. So thanks, everybody. See you hopefully in the future trainings that we give. Homework help, which is good for everybody to know about, and then searching fundamentals.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day, good week. And then Arlene, I will see you
In a little bit.
Yep. I'm ready if you want to go early, I'm ready anytime.
Okay.
Let me know.
Okay. You want me to use that link though you gave me, right?
Oh, yeah. And since it's just you and me and Kathy now, Kathy, did you have anything specific that you wanted to ask too, or did you
Nope,
learn anything?
I'm out of
today?
here. I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you too. Arlene, are you ready to go now?
Ready to go to the meeting? You want to?
Yeah. You ready to meet now, or do you want to wait? It doesn't matter to me.
I can meet now. You're not recording still, are you?
No, I am recording. I'll cut this off. Sorry. I'll cut it off. Let me stop. Yeah, but we can, yeah, let's end and then let's just meet in that other link though.